Okay, next question. So what is your question? What to do? You guys have speed bumps? Have you guys? Is it in this neighborhood? This is the Commonwealth you speak of?
Yes.
The one big neighborhood coming in? Okay, you guys had speed bumps until you went?
He did make a difference.
Big problem just got around.
It turned into a drag race from speed up to speed
Or
up.
around.
So, the obvious, you can call the sheriff's office, when we get there in 10 minutes. You gotta go home. Other things you can deter, you can put a speed measure device. You know, nobody wants to go by with this 45 and 25 and.
No,
Ma'am?
No, don't do that.
At all the entrances, like when we come up to the street stop signs. We went off the main entrance. Did that help?
That would be,
To turn a little bit?
so that would be something you contact the county for, sheriff's office, the stop sign.
Yeah, you do, county road and
What
bridge.
about, do you guys have a dummy car?
Yeah, bring them outside. Yes. Yeah. So, I get it, maybe for your visitors that's coming from Connecticut to see you guys down here, might think it's a cop car, and most of us. So we may slow them down, but I'm not, I'm not taking it away. It's something.
What are you guys doing about the speed limits on the jail?
We don't determine,
That's the.
we don't determine the speed limits, we just enforce them when we can, when we have time, unfortunately.
So the county determines.
Yeah, is the speed too slow or too fast?
I'm the guy who 2 years ago that had part of those boom effects. And it's constant speed. It's like a drag race.
Right, so what you can do is speed limits, you can request a speed study through the county road and bridge. They come out and they'll look, and they might adjust speed limits depending on what they see. But a speed limit sign is only as good as following the speed limit, right?
But what do you guys do to mock, do you ever catch a speeder on that side?
To enforce? Yeah. Right, yeah, so basically, and that's one of the reasons why we're here, right?
So you're saying no?
It is a perfect, no, I'm not saying no, it's a perfect segue into, so basically, right, what we're dealing with right now is we don't have the deputy numbers to do that enforcement as regularly as the city wanted. Okay, so what we need you guys to do, contact the county commissioner and request more funding for emergency services so we can fund more deputies, so we can have more bodies in places to enforce those things. Okay, this is a crazy number that I'm gonna throw out to you guys. So the county budget, right, that is determined every year, emergency services gets 7% of that total budget. 7%.
And that's what
And
fire
that,
rescue.
and that is fire rescue and law enforcement combined. So we split it about 3.5% each.
So we're gonna pass the hat around.
Yeah, right. So we're gonna do a collection here in a second now. Right.
So that money would just go right back to the county.
Yeah, that goes to the county.
sheriff's office. And then we still get our
Right.
7%.
Unless they pay us cash.
We won't have them.
Yeah, so that's what I need you guys to do. Reach out to your county commissioner and let them know you guys want more funding for emergency services. So we can fund more deputy positions, so we can have more deputies out to then do those enforcements in these residential streets where you're seeing the problems.
Because it is going to get worse, only because if you guys go out of your community and go to the east side of Pasco or anything like that, you're gonna see apartments, communities, everything. There's no more rural areas in
Yeah.
Pasco. We're not,
Yeah.
Tampa's coming down into us.
Yeah, so just understand that our population right now is right around 561,000. By 2025, it's projected 700,000.
And we're not getting more deputies to match.
Yeah, and we're not getting more deputies, so.
And they're counting apartments pretty much as houses. And it's not how it works. Every apartment complex is gonna have just one building. You think
Right, you'll have
50 to 60 families, where a community might have 50 to 60 homes, but then you times that apartment by 6, because it's different buildings. We just don't have the deputies to keep up with it.
Yes, so we need your guys' help. Talk to your county commissioner, get us the funding. Go ahead.
Are you having trouble getting people to sign up to be deputies? That's why you're.
So hold on, sir. Her question was, are we having trouble finding deputies to sign on? Yes. The reason being, guys, I'll tell you right now, if you were to start, because I help recruit for Pasco County. I got great stories about Pasco County. I love this county. I love this agency. You do the right thing, they'll back you up. That's what, and we don't hire garbage people. We just won't. We'll pass over and we'll just do it ourselves until we get the right people. That being said, if you start now, because what do they ask me at the recruiting booth? How much do we get paid? Starting deputy is $56,000 a year to wear a gun and a bullet-resistant vest. It's not bulletproof.
Well,
So I get that. But then they'll go to the booth next door to me, who's Pinellas County, and this guy's over here is Tampa PD. Tampa PD starts at 69,000. 69,
Do the same
56.
job.
All right, well, nice talking to you. Bye. You see what I'm saying? That's why we need more funding. We got good cops. We're not gonna start cutting corners and take whatever we can get, like some people do up north. We're just not gonna do it. Our sheriff doesn't believe in that. I don't believe in that. You guys don't believe in that, right?
no.
So, back to the funding, that's where we're at. We're the lowest. You know, you can go to the jail and be a jail deputy and you make more money than out here.
And that's
Really?
county now, so they're not with the sheriff's office, so the county is paying them more money to work in their jail.
And again, of course, I could talk to them and sell them on, you know, money isn't everything, but money helps. It helps to make things a little bit easier or a lot easier. So,
I would guess you go out to the schools and try to recruit.
yes, I was just at University of Tampa.
Boys, yeah.
Recruiting. I had my booth. I got my all my giveaways, and I was all excited. And then I was get there early. I got my little board set up, and then St. Pete sat right next to me. Mouth is back it up.
What is the age cutoff before you can become a deputy?
You ready? There is no age cutoff, guys.
We're short on crossing guards, we need.
Yeah, we definitely need crossing guards as well,
crossing guard leaders.
and that's a paid job. I started law enforcement when I was 40 years old.
Last week.
I'm 36 now. Anybody guess my age? Don't be mean. What? Anybody else?
No.
I just turned 54.
Wow.
Clean living.
Okay.
Kind of sick.
But yes, sir. So the population growth is estimated to increase about 125,000. 125,000.
I know, everybody's moving to.
Well, we don't want to take over your meeting, guys. We just came in for a few minutes.
Yes.
County commissioners, we have the money. They just need to allocate more to this. If you guys think it's a big deal to be safe, then let them know it's a big deal to you. Yeah. Cool? Cool?
Thank you.
Anybody have questions, sir? Got one in the back? I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. So, all right. This is what happened. I have a beautiful dog, black lab, ready for what he did, his job. Didn't bite, didn't chase bad guys, didn't sniff for drugs. He was cool. He's a therapy dog. So I bring him people in crisis, people having the worst days. We hear it on the radio all the time. And I go belly rubs. That's his specialty. But he has since been retired. He was rescued. We didn't know how old he was. Apparently, he was older than we thought. And so he saw him on my couch and gave my couch.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, on with the meeting. Roll call, Debbie?
Yes, sir. Paula DePace, Eileen Dunn, Donna Mosier, Susan Muniak, Bill Heidenreich,
Here.
Jennifer Smiley, Lemay Nyford, and Ed Wayner.
Here. Jack, proof of notice?
Proof of notice was posted on Monday.
Okay, disposition of prior meeting minutes. We have a motion?
Motion to accept minutes as presented.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, treasurer's report. Our new treasurer would like to say a few things about her report.
Okay. Oh, sorry. All right. If you look at the report, you'll see there are a couple of differences on the report from the previous reports. I've added back the year-to-date so that if you look, the income is how much we took in for the year, how much we've spent for the year, and there's a net income, and it's not a negative, so that is how much money we have been spending under budget at this point. Also, you will see, there's the Cornerstone accounts under the, reserves, under cash reserves. The Cornerstone accounts has a big $698,000 number. And then it says the operating is minus 400,000. That's because part of our money in Cornerstone is operating money as well as reserve money. So I'm just trying to keep the reserve and the operating separate because that's how we got to do it. If you have any other questions about the reports, you can always email me or ask me after the meeting. And for those who are going to be on the Finance Committee, this next meeting of the Finance Committee, I'll go into a little bit more about the new reporting because our management company, though it's the same management company, has switched their system that they use. And so the reports are the same but different. So we'll go over that then. But other than that, I move that we accept the report as written.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Managers report.
Okay, on April 18th, the crew rented a tractor to clear several of the storm drain outflows into the timber park from driftwood. The storm that we had yesterday, I went out and checked it out. It seems that we didn't have any standing water over on Wabash, and it appears to have flowed freely into the park. So it's not pretty, but it has seemed to have addressed the issue. On April 29th, Pasco County came out and jetted the storm drain pipes associations with the stormwater runoff around the community center. That's the big drain over here in this parking lot. They jetted it to the street. They jetted that way. They jetted up this way, and they jetted to the little pond across the street. So all this has been cleared out. And I was out there watching them. They got a lot of debris out of those pipes from all the oak trees. Yeah, we had a problem with the irrigation pump. It went down, and the men have been coming in early and doing a lot of hand watering to try to keep everything alive. Mark and the crew have been pressure cleaning common area sidewalks and seawalls around the association. On the 7th, we had our annual fire extinguisher inspection. Everything was good there. On May 7th, we had to call Amen Air out because one of the big 12-ton units in here froze up. Took 5 pounds of coolant to get it back online. They're supposed to come back out in about another week to address and give us a price for the replacement part. I believe is the dryer or the evaporator is what's leaking and needs to be replaced. So they're supposed to come back out and give us a price on that. On May 7th also, Lowry Electric installed the new fuse disconnect for the pool electrical panel that was overheating. Everything's been operating fine with that ever since. The paving of the east parking lot begins on May 20th. We're going to be blocked. Our first thing in the morning on May 20th, on Monday. We'll be blocking off that parking lot over there, so please, if you see cones and tape, don't drive through it. I've seen this happen many times. The pool geothermal units, have been acting up and giving us a problem. We did call in a service tech. He couldn't open the units up because it was pouring rain when he got here. Mark had, company on the phone, made some valve adjustments, and Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, but everything's functioning now. Okay, Nick has already repainted the curbing and the directional arrows in front of the clubhouse, and he's now working on repainting the no parking on the asphalt. Crew also had to replace a shut-off valve on the toilet in the ladies' room. Somehow it got kicked off or broken off. Mark has ordered a new shower valve out here for the pool shower. It was staying on too long. Well, we now have a backup shower valve because Mark finally found the tiny Allen wrench to adjust the valve with. It's about as big as a camel hair, and it's pretty small, but he got it adjusted. It's working fine. Last Saturday, the new irrigation pump was delivered and installed for the community center. What I mean by delivered, we had one of those pumps in stock. The well folks hooked it up. It was defective, brand new, off the shelf. So they had to order another one. We have since had the replacement put in. It's running fine. We've also got the delivery of a new backup pump, so we have backup in stock. I'm still working in the process of getting bids for sidewalk repairs. Finding companies that can handle these huge tree roots is the issue. You know, a lot of them, oh, can I cut it with Sawzall? No, you're going to need a stump grinder to get through those roots on those bad sidewalks. Also, I got here that Nick installed new faucets in the men's room because the other ones were corroded so badly. The fountain vendor will be out this Friday to address the fountain that's not working out on the lake. We have power going to it, but it's not coming on. Violations, we had 51 resolved and 92 new for the previous month. And that concludes my report.
Question?
Jack, you have Nick as doing the no parking on the asphalt. Is that in the parking lots?
No, out front here.
Okay, so that's not gonna be redone.
No, this is just the drive-through, the little
Okay,
offshoot right here. That's not the contract. Maybe.
okay, thank you.
Yes, Bill?
Yeah, I'd like to ask Jack, Lowry Electric installed a new fuse disconnect for the pool electric panel that was overheating. Well, that means you either got too small of a breaker in there or your live wires are too small. Why are we always having this trouble?
Well, this case over here, the inbound wires to the fuse box was what's getting hot, not the outbound wires. And it was burning the top of the box where the huge fuses sit. So they replaced the source power wires and the fuse panel itself, and everything's been running full sets.
I mean, they don't know that if it's something's getting hot, either the breaker or the wire is too small.
Well, I'll tell you this, Bill, the wires were of the proper size. They were huge, but the lugs were heating up and they were tight. They couldn't explain it, but once they ran the new wires from the power source to the top of the power box and replaced the box and the fuses, everything's been operating fine.
They thought they got it done right. After $50 million.
Didn't he also say on that, Jack, that the connections, like they weren't hitting in the right place and that had something to do with the overheating?
Yeah, the clips that held those large, almost the size of a Red Bull can, fuses in there. On top and the bottom, there's clips that weren't properly grabbing, so weren't making a good connection as well. And he tried to tighten those up, but they wouldn't. It wouldn't do it. The whole thing had to be replaced.
Well, they're so great, we ought to use them on everything.
We do.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay, Hi, Karen.
Hey. So sure,
Go ahead.
Luciola, Caserina Drive. I'm wondering if you cannot somehow impose restrictions on our residents because those throw-down newspapers get all washed down into the gutters and it clogs up the drain pipes. And this is a season when all of these seasonal people are gone. They haven't arranged for anybody to pick up these papers. I see them out there yellowing and rotting. And then you get that quick thunderstorm and it all washes down the drain. Now, you know how much junk we got from trees. We have trees all throughout our community. So the trees are messing also with all that paper and plastic. Is there not the drive around that could possibly alert people, pick up your throwdowns? It is trashy, it's trash on their lawns.
We can maybe put something in the newsletter about that.
That'd be wonderful because it's going to be a flooding problem eventually. Thank you.
Thank you. Art committee.
Ed Ever for the Art Committee. We received 23 requests and all three meet the requirements of the Art Committee for your passage.
I make a motion that we accept the 23 recommended by the art committee for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Question? Jennifer?
And does the art committee still do follow-ups on these approvals
No,
after a length of time?
no,
Why?
because
I
we
think
found
we
that,
need
you know, some of the things it's exhausting and you can't do it because you can't go on people's property without their permission.
I think some of these,
Well, some
like
of them
paint
could be-
colors,
Huh?
we used to do everything. We make sure they did their driveways properly, the paint colors. Anything that we gave them approval for, we always did a double check, make sure they did a follow through properly. I'd like to recommend that y'all do that again.
Well, thanks for your recommendation, but, yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes it's just a frugal attempt. If you go around and see that, you know, you can't see what you're doing. Why are we doing it? Why are we expending our time running around, which it takes a lot of our time also to do this? You think everybody's violating it?
I think that if you see someone that you think the paint colors or anything are off, report it. I know there was one done in San Clemente that was overstepped their bounds with trim, and that was reported and taken care of. So I think, you know, if you see a neighbor who has some outlandish color or has done something they shouldn't, you need to report it and it will be followed up on. But to expect the 3 to 5 people at times that show up for an art committee to go around and check, you know, this one in 1 month, you have 23, and there's been plenty more than that in other months when the snowbirds are here. I think that's just too much to ask. If you want to get more people on the art committee, that's one thing.
Yes.
Just, you know, I understand the amount of time it would take for some of it, but some of it, like when somebody's widening a driveway and we give them permission and it has to have the gutter and also be the angle out to the drive. And they wind up, well, hey, look at that, I bought 1,000 pavers and I've got 100 left because I don't know how to add and subtract. So why don't I just put another extra strip down here? So instead of being the maximum of 22 feet, you know, items like that where it's a driveway. Paint color, you can, that's an easy one. You won't be putting up a sample up against it. But if they said it was gonna be light blue and you drive by and it's navy blue, because when when they were in Home Depot, they liked the navy blue better. Then you'll see it. I mean, we don't do exact colors, it's close to colors. But things like driveways or widening things, I think should be, whether we need an additional people on the committee to do just checkup. I mean, I remember one years ago, who decided to put pavers in their front yard, and we told them how much for half and all that. And we went and checked, and he had to take out a good number of them, and then he didn't take out all he was supposed to. I mean, it just gets, most people will do what they say they're going to do. But there are those who, without even realizing that it makes a difference if it's pale gray or dark gray, or don't realize the difference is we have a rule that it's 22 feet for this. Those kind of things I think should be checked.
We've found lately that most of the people do have expressly looked at them, and we've come out and measured them. In fact, most of the time, they're under their amount because they do, follow those rules. I have none that I know of lately within the last 2 years that have exceeded anything. Everything that they've put on, we watch that, and we've gone on. I just was out last week on one to check out.
So we do check them occasionally.
Yeah, we check them, and we have people that call in, and a lot of times it's the people that are putting them in, that one of them happened to forget. I went out there and he says, yes, I've checked the rules, measured the thing, and it's precisely what they had. I think we have to have a little bit more trust in our people also. They're not gonna, if you're talking about a 22, in these communities, you find, and this is from personal experience of doing this all in a long period of time, we have it here that everybody's watching everybody to start with, so you're sure going to get it, alerted to this, just as we did in San Clemente, just because the person did, and that rectifies it. We go back out, and normally the check, all these ones that we okay doesn't mean that we haven't gone with them and talked to them prior to that to remedy stuff. Our job isn't to thwart this. Our job is to make the place acceptable according to our standards, and that's what we're doing.
Okay, thank you, Ed.
Thank you, Ed.
Committee report. Live Oak. Oh, go ahead, Elizabeth. I saw you.
Hello, Lynn Stanford, I'm representing Beverly Hudock today. Her report shows that ticket sales will start as of June 18th. So this month, ticket sales will be as it has been. But starting in June, we are changing the time of ticket sales to 10 a.m. And the numbers will be handed out at 9:30 a.m. the day of ticket sales. I think it will actually help everybody so that you're not in the middle of the day having to interrupt your day with ticket sales. The board discussed scheduled events for balance of 2024. Live Oak Social will be held June 4th, 2024, and then there'll be no Live Oak Socials July, August, or September. The next Live Oaks board meeting is May 28th, 2024 at 10 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Elizabeth?
Liz Goodman, fines and suspension. Hearings were held on 5/7 and 5/9 for violations. 4/17. I knew it wasn't me, They were, get those mics to work.
Yeah.
How many years has it been? 5 different types of.
Batteries go dead.
We used to say we're and we were putting in the house, right? We were doing all that.
Uh-oh.
Excuse me.
There's all.
Hello? Looks good now, fines and suspensions. Hearings were held on 5/7 and 5/9 for violations approved at the 4/17/24 Toxa Board meeting. 4 violations were received. 1 violation was corrected, 1 violation enforced, and 2 were not enforced. The ones that were not enforced were lawn and gardening, and they felt that they had been done. So they voted to not enforce them. The fines were $50 a day to a max of 5,000. Suspensions was a 60-day suspension. Questions?
Okay, thank you, Elizabeth.
Yeah, just put it in a folder for now.
Finance Committee,
French Wiselet, 13806-7024 for the Finance Committee. I apologize that our computer has been seized by an evil agent, so I had to handwrite my report. The last meeting went very well. It says in the report we'll have our next meeting on May 20th. We will not have our meeting on May 20th. We will be having an organizational meeting on May 23rd at 1 p.m. in the afternoon, and all is welcome. And at that meeting, we will decide when we will go over the May financials. We did not think they would be ready by the 20th.
They might be ready by the 23rd. We might have them, so we'll see.
That'll be great. Thank you.
thank you, Patty. Park Committee? Oh, my bad. Okay, this is, people that have, our new committees, we had sign-up sheets. And, May, you want to read those?
We had 8 people who signed up for the art committee. We normally only have 6 on that committee, so we have kept it to that, and those have been the ones that have been serving. Would be Ed Hever, Lanny Lipsky, Russ Rogers, Lynette Grabowski, Pat Blizniak, and Pat Walzunis. They have been serving. They will be our 2024 art committee. Better Living Committee, and I also got someone who missed signups, and I'm going to add her to it. Karen Fritsch, Vinnie Agler, Barb Martin, Chris Giancola, Pat Walzunis, and Terry Kaufman have signed up for that. Karen, will you add Terry Kaufman to yours? Put her on here. Emergency Response Committee is Patty Weislich and Rick Agler. Donna?
Yeah, and I've added my name as the board liaison.
Okay, and we will put Donna Moser on as the liaison.
There's an updated version that somebody who added, it should have been on the dais.
We added Chris Giancola and Ron Weisman, please.
Okay, sorry. So Ron Weislick is also on it, and Chris Giancola and Donna Moser will be your liaison. Finance Committee, we had 7 sign up for it. I take it that is agreeable.
Yes, please.
Okay. Tanya Binkley, Mike Duff, Patty Weislick, Bonnie Lipsky, Karen Fritsch, Connie Honorman, and Rob Sidneski. Is that right? Okay. And we have Sue Muniak will be liaison for that committee. Fines and suspensions. Dave Fuller, Liz Goodnow, Bonnie Lipsky, and Jean Molman. We will have 2 that will substitute. Since they are new, we usually start them out that way. That would be Tanya Binkley and Jan Tarbox. And that does not get a liaison. That is outside board. Library Committee, Ann Gooden, Judy Taylor, Anita Johnstotter, Pat Tony, Debbie Perini. Library Committee. We only have 1 for Orientation Committee. That would be Pat Walzunas. We do need someone else to be on that committee. You can sign up in the office, please. We do need that. That's once a month. But you want more than 1 person willing to meet the new people that are coming in. Donna? Board liaison. Okay, and Donna's board liaison with that. Does anyone want to volunteer right now? All those hands?
Yeah.
Great.
I see 2 hands.
So, Ron,
Yes.
I will put you down. Thank you. And
The lady in the back.
I'm sorry, your name? Pat Tony? Thank you, Pat. Okay, so now we have 3 on that and the liaison. Thank you so much. And that's it. Did I miss anything?
Okay, so that's our committees for the upcoming year. And, we thank each one of you for your service.
Meeting should be scheduled in the Timber Times, so just come to the next meeting and I'm sure you will be voting for chairpersons or whatever needs to be done. Thank you.
Okay, unfinished business, the spa. I know a lot of you are anxious to get that up, as are we. Jack, you want to address this?
Okay, just a brief synopsis of the issue. The original wiring that went out to the spa panel supplied service to a propane heater, which didn't require that much electricity. It was fed by gas, very low voltage. Then they put the geothermal out there, equivalent to a large air conditioner, large compressor and everything in it, plus a source pump that was drawing more amperage to pull water from the lake to feed the unit, and that ended up overamping everything. The masters here in the kitchen constantly tripping. So LeMay's friend, what was his friend name?
Mike O'Connell.
He came out, he took a look at the panels and everything, and he agreed that a 100 amp service would be needed out there to properly feed that, as opposed to the 50 amp service that is presently there, because it was overheating, kicking breakers. So I went out and got some bids. It's difficult getting some electricians out here. But what it boils down to, On the 100 amp service, Floyd Lowry Electric is $52.85. Man Electric Corporation, $6,487. Fisher Electric only bid an 80 amp service at $52.97, higher than the 100 amp for Lowry. So I didn't even bother asking them for a 100 amp bid because I knew they'd be way up there. Mike Curry Electric, recommended by LeMay's friend. 100 amp service was $46.75, but did not include the required concrete work, because we have to run all new conduit, all new wire, cut through sidewalk. Did not include that. So my recommendation for a 100 amp service, because we're going to need future add-on electrical out there for monument lighting and getting dock power out there for possibly future music on the lake. Because that plug only works when the lights are on, street lights are on. So that would be an independent circuit as well, added on, but would not overdo it. But I'm recommending that we go with Lowry Electric for the $52.87. The most cost effective, that includes the concrete work. And I'm recommending we move forward and get this thing done. Let's
Any
say yay.
questions? May?
I had put this on Facebook just to let people know what was going on, because there were so many stupid rumors that were going on. But I cannot thank Mike O'Connell enough. I mean, he came out, he pointed everything out. He was pulling breakers like you wouldn't believe. It scared the heck out of me, but
He's playing tic-tac-toe with us.
oh my gosh, he knew exactly what he was doing. That board was overloaded for years. It took that long to burn through the coatings on the wires, which is what was blowing everything. And what we had was burn marks on the panel out there. We had some on the inside. We're lucky we didn't have a fire. He recommended Mike Curry, who came in, but his bid was quite a big difference from the others because he couldn't do the concrete. So I think we should go with Floyd Lowry. And we were actually going for an 80 amp, and Mike was the one that suggested we do 100 in case we have more, because we have plenty of empty slots out there. But at an 80 amp, we're just about there already, and we only had a 50 going out there. The reason we have to put in bigger conduit is the conduit that's out there already has 3 wires in it. The 100 or the 80 amp would not be able to fit with what's already there. We are only going through the sidewalk right outside the gate. That's it. We are not digging up concrete in the pool area or the hot tub area or anything else. Everything else is in conduit that runs on the outside of the building, on the outside of the walls. So if you hear about we're digging up the inside, it is not true. I do not think this will take 6 months, as what was said. It will only take, what, a few days, I would think, a couple maybe.
With ordering parts, I'm hoping a week maximum.
So as soon as we can, as soon as we agree to a bid, we will get a date to start and get that taken.
Okay, Sue?
I'd like to make a motion that we go with Floyd Lowry Electric for the 100 amp service at $5,285, and it will be charged to the Spot Equipment Reserve account 9070.
Donnie, you had a question?
Well, not so much a question, but I did post to thank Michael. I'm sorry, I've been real emotional lately, but to thank him, because we do have residents like him that are serviced in these areas that us board members are not. So to have our residents input on services like this is very good. So if any of y'all ever hear that we're having other things like this come up and you have your services that can help us, we surely appreciate it.
Okay, we have
I second
a motion and a second.
Yeah, second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Let's get her done.
Got it.
Okay, new business. Discussion and adoption of the new budget.
First thing, I'll make a motion that we adopt the budget as presented. Wait for a second.
Second.
Okay, in this budget, the thing that most interests everyone, the senior assessment stays the same at $50. For the family who are family not paying the senior assessment, the assessment goes up $1 to $16 a month. And the reason that it goes up is because we are required in our bylaws to follow a formula for how the family assessments are determined. It's based on the CPI, and we have no wiggle room on it. We put the numbers in from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, ding, 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 and it comes out and it tells us what we can charge, what we are supposed to charge. This goes back to, I believe it was in 2000, a lawsuit that was brought, and that's the way it goes. The biggest increases will be in insurance, as everyone knows from their own homes. The insurance industry in Florida is crazy, and we get socked with it. And as anyone who lives in a condo knows, the condos are getting socked with it. So there's not much we can do about that. The other increases that are big, I can't remember which the other, but basically we're doing fine. We have money. We are solvent. We are not going down the tubes or anything like that. And the board has been conservative. I mean, when you look at our financial statements each year, we usually wind up with a surplus at the end of a budget year. That is a good thing. Most HOAs and all that long to get a surplus. If you're interested, will be some copies at the end of the meeting that you can get of the budget, or you can always get them at the office. They're there for everyone. That's it.
Okay, any questions on the budget? Please come to the microphone if you're a resident.
Yeah, I'm trying, so I may not be able to hear me that well. But I'm living here.
Move the mic down a
A little bit, yeah, okay. I'm living here 47 years, and I've seen these.
Please
fees
state your
going up.
name so.
Oh, okay, Pauline Luciani. Okay. And I live with my husband in Driftwood Village. Okay, and I just seen that the fees are going up. I know it's only $1, but my husband couldn't be here today. But we were just wondering, what does it cover? What are you doing for it? You know, what are we getting for the $16? We see changes in the neighborhood, people having 4 cars on their driveway, one's going apart, are we doing anything for it?
We are trying to do our best with deed restrictions. I'll
I'm
let,
working on it, Paul. Trust me. It's
And-
work in progress.
and also after that, your fees, the family fees go towards the upkeep of all the common grounds. It also goes in part for the service of a management company and for a manager. And I know that we're working hard to get as many people to comply with our deed restrictions and getting them noticed that they do have deed restrictions. And it's a work in progress.
Okay.
Also, we have a person that goes around for Timber Oaks and does everything. You have your own committee in Driftwood that took that over, 2-3 years ago, I think, more than that. And so you can always address them or Jennifer, who represents Driftwood, if you have complaints about any of it. And I hope that you do.
Also, we just, spent money, cleaning out the drains over there, so, that we're trying to keep up that area also. We're not ignoring you.
Okay, I heard you say that the fees didn't change for the regular, the senior community, but ours did. So are they not?
There was a lawsuit that was brought by Driftwood, and the figures on that are what the budget has to go by. It's not something we decided.
I mean, if there were years, I've been here, 17 years or something like that now. There were years where we went up to $3 a month and Driftwood did not go up, and the family did not go up at all. It's just a matter of calculations. I mean, you go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics site, look up this, subtract from this, and add to that. And it just comes out to that. And it's directed by law. That was how the lawsuit was set up. So we're working with that and trying to get everyone in the whole, I mean, even seniors, trying to get everyone to realize there are deed restrictions, what the deed restrictions are, and to keep it looking as great as it can be, because it helps everybody's value when the houses are kept well.
When you see homes that have 4 cars on their driveway, there's multiple families living there. There's something wrong.
We're not arguing with you about that. We're just trying to get it straight.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
4 cars in a driveway aren't an issue, it's when they're on the lawn or on the street.
Thank you for your input. Okay, motion would be in order to accept the budget. Did we do it?
Yeah, first and second.
Did we vote on it?
No.
Okay. Sorry, got confused there. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Yeah, we
Yeah, double.
They're doubling our.
We're doubling our salary.
10% increase.
It's nice
Yeah.
to know.
I think he's go 100.
Okay. Request for additional hours for pool exercise aerobics class. This was sent in and said they were consistently having over 30 people in their classes, and they would like to request 2 back-to-back classes, 9 to 10 and 10 to 11, on the current designated days, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Many of the exercises are done on one of the walls of the pool when there are 30 or more people, there is not enough room in the water where people can touch the bottom. Thank you for your consideration. Discussion? Sue?
All right, I am a great believer in water aerobics. I do it as much as I can, and I'm doing it now to recoup. But right now, you're using, the group is using 3 hours of prime time. 6 hours is a bit much. Also, the number of 30 was a bit exaggerated. There were a couple of us there on Thursday, April 25th, Friday, April 26th, and Tuesday, April 30th. And there were 20 people, 19 people, and 19 people. That's not 30. I know I know it's hard when you need to be be in water that's no higher than chest high for some of it. But, you know, you can do, the hours are there for everyone. And especially, those are very, very prime hours, especially when it starts getting hotter out. So, in my opinion, I don't think it's a valid enough reason for now.
Probably have less people in the upcoming,
During the
Time.
summer, sure.
yeah. Any other comments?
I agree with Sue. I think this could possibly be revisited if it continues to increase. We can look at it again, but at this time, I don't think there's a reason to, okay.
Okay,
I make a motion that we deny additional hours for pool exercise.
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I was looking for it in here now. Okay, discussion of board communications and on-call policies. Sue, you brought this up, you want to address it?
Yeah, as most of you know, I've been on the board before, and that's enough. But when I started now back in April, I noticed a difference of how we were communicating, all the board members were communicating. And it just, it was like, come to the meeting, vote, and that's it, which is not what I'm used to. I think that we all need to know what's going on the board. We need to be aware of everything. And so I came up with some suggestions. These are just my suggestions, but whenever a board member has a question as to something going on in Timber Oaks, send an email to the entire board and to all the board members. When you answer an email, please reply all. Because I'll get an email saying, oh, I think that's a good idea, Sue. We should do it, but nobody else gets that.
That's my fault.
You're not the
Computer
only one.
illiterate, but
You're not the only one.
I'm thinking it's answering and going to everybody, and I find out it's not.
When you see something wrong after hours, call the maintenance person on call and let that person talk to the manager and find out what is to be done. At the same time, send an email to all the board members to let them know what is happening. Also, alerting community members on Facebook that something is wrong is great. However, make sure you notify the rest of the board and different opinions of how it should be. Notify the rest of the board and different opinions of how it should be fixed or by who should not be on Facebook. Board members should not be fixing things on their own. Let the manager decide what needs to be done. Flipping a circuit breaker might work, or it could make a bad situation even worse. Well, as LeMay was saying, that our wires were so weird and all that, flipping circuit breakers could have started the fire that luckily we didn't have. If there's a contractor or anyone coming out to give a bid or explain a problem, and the manager feels he needs or wants some board input, all board members should be invited to look and listen. That's not necessarily a meeting because we're not voting on anything, but just to look and listen. If all or none of the board members can be there, no big deal. It's not a meeting, no decisions will be made, and results should be communicated to the rest of the board so that we know why a recommendation was what it was. And the reason we have a management company and a licensed manager is to help make the decisions. And, please think of what you would like to see done to make sure we all know what is going on. Those are just some suggestions of how we should just move on, so we all know what page we're on. We don't all have to agree, because I know we won't, but that's okay.
Okay. LeMay?
I have no problem with the emails and the reply to all. I often do that. I am not on my email all the time. I started putting on Facebook because I felt like residents, there's so many rumors that go around and you don't hear anything. So I started putting on what exactly was going on and my opinions of it. I don't think I should have to check with everybody to put my opinion on Facebook or to let the residents know what's going on, or, find out. So you get around to everybody deciding what we should do or what I can and cannot put on. It's, the reason for doing it is gone. As far as fixing, I know I did reset the circuit breaker numerous times, trying to get it to work. It would blow after about an hour, hour and a half. I tried turning the air conditioners off in the restrooms because I thought maybe they were overloading it. That didn't work. But I also knew that.
Should say that was on a weekend.
Yes, it was on a weekend when our maintenance were not here. And it was on a Saturday when there was a dance and I knew it was going to be used. And we had talked to Jack before that about what was going on and thought we had solved the problem because I think Mark had reset it and it seemed to save this, but as it went on, it was staying on shorter periods of time, so we stopped doing it. The fact that anyone can call in maintenance on the day off, I have always called Ed, let him know what was going on. He would check it out. And if he felt it was something that needed to be taken care of on the weekend, he would call someone in. I hate to have our guys called in on a weekend if they don't have to be. If it's something that can wait, we don't call for every little thing. It costs Timber Oaks money, plus it disrupts their weekend. So, I just thought it's a great idea if we have one person do that. And by doing that, if we are all calling Ed, and I notice a problem and call him, and he's taking care of it, or, he can let everyone know this is what's going on. But it's better than having 2 or 3 people calling our maintenance guys right away. And like I said, I don't check my email all the time. So, I just thought that was the best way to go. As far as the contractors coming, that has changed, and we have always notified whenever contractors came, like when we had, but it's usually, Jennifer, stop. It's usually done when we have an open bid. So there are 3 or 4 contractors that come. And the last time we had them come was for the driveway over here. We had 1 contractor show up, and actually no one showed up other than Ed and myself. But that's already been taken care of. Jack notifies everyone. If I happen to stop in the office and Jack tells me something, we will often say to him, let everyone know. So I think that's kind of taken care of. But as far as reply all, yes. I don't know, I think we should change the thing to the board president be notified if there's problems, and then he can either talk to Jack or call in maintenance.
What I was saying about calling maintenance wasn't to call them in, but to call them to let Jack know, rather than, I don't care if it's call Ed, but and if Ed's not there, call whatever. But like when you had Mike O'Connell, whatever.
Mike didn't come out for the board. I asked Mike personally to come.
All right, but when you were there, it was you, Ed, and Jack?
I think was that everyone?
Yep.
Yes.
Why not have said to the board, I've asked Mike to come out. If you're available, we're gonna be at it's in here in the kitchen where the breaker's in there. Yeah.
Yeah, I could have done that. I really didn't think that much of it. It was just to get an opinion from a
Well,
resident, but that would have been good.
Yeah, and
But we were always told you couldn't have more than so many.
you can, as long as you're not taking a vote and you're learning about what is there.
I think that's great, and I think we should be able to do that, but I did not know that.
Yeah, that, and
Can I jump in there? Any gathering of the board of directors discussing business is a meeting. Have more than a quorum there, it must be posted.
Right.
but a meeting is not, we were told by the attorney that if we're going to a learning session, and if Mike was explaining, this is this, we're not discussing what it is. We're not saying, well, we think it should be this, we think it should be that. We're learning that this is this, you should have extra whatever. If we're there, we don't vote, we don't do any meeting kind of things, that it was legal according to what the attorney had told us.
Well, I believe the board can go to as a whole, can go to a seminar, a learning seminar. Let's say these board certification things I've been sending you.
Yeah.
That is an appropriate function. You don't need to post a meeting for that. But if you're meeting here on site of more than a quorum of the board, it really needs to have a meeting notice posted, so you're covered.
Let's check with Carlos,
That's just what I was
find
saying.
out for sure.
Well, and the other.
Because it would be a lot easier, and we should be able to get together to look at things.
Right. And the other thing is just when, when I was talking about posting on Facebook, it's fine, I mean, I appreciate when, not that everyone reads Facebook, reads the pages or whatever, but saying that the spa will be down for a while, we're working on electrical, we know that there's an overload of the circuit.
Right.
That's fine. But then after you spoke with Mike, you also put down, I will let the board know on your post. And you never, I found out, I didn't ask, I was at the office.
After I met with Mike.
Yeah, after you met with Mike, you would say, and I will let the board know what he found. And you didn't. Hey.
I may not have, believe you're right, I'm sure.
But I want us all to be
Right.
Will we disagree? We know we will
Oh, yeah.
disagree.
Okay.
But once we vote, we vote.
And honestly, I wish we had all been there for Mike. It was amazing.
And that's the kind of stuff that we know. We'll find out.
Okay, Johnny, you had your hand up first.
Oh, well, I was just gonna say, it'd be different, I think what Susan's saying is it would have been different if, say, you two decided, okay, we're gonna use Lowry since Mike said, okay, let's do that. And
Susan.
And then, no, I know that. But I agree with, like, I did, but I agree with like what Susan's saying. We should all be aware, like, I would have liked to have been at the meeting to know what it said. But, you know, I understand y'all were there for the emergency part of it. And you did let everybody know.
Okay, Jennifer.
So I'm assuming that we all agree if there's.
Mike.
Yes, sir, ma'am. I'm guessing that we all also have made the decision that if an issue comes up, we call Ed.
The president.
I'm sorry, the president. Whomever the president is, I'm assuming it's still Ed, but.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's all we needed was procedure, what we should do in a situation. And I think that's basically what we're requesting is, let's all get on the same page, play in the same field. Thank you.
If I might, you know, in the past, Ed has contacted me when there's been an issue, and I've made the decision of which one of the staff to dispatch based on their skill levels. That's the way it's worked.
fine, just so we all know. Right. That's, I think
Okay,
that's
and
the problem.
I'll, sometimes, you know, when you get something and it says send to all, you know, at the top, and I just usually think I'm doing that, but there's two arrows up there.
Yeah.
One goes to
We'll
just
just
the
all be
person
more
that put
aware
it
of what
in.
we're doing. How's that?
I'll try to do better.
We'll just all try that. That's all we
Okay.
ask.
Ellie, do you have something you want to say?
Yeah, I want to discuss, I want to give my opinion on that. I understand what Susan Muniak has been saying in terms of, I always felt that the state statutes allow boards now to communicate agenda items. So you do a lot of planning, obviously, before the meeting starts, which wasn't true years ago. Years ago, when we were on the boards, there was a lot of discussion and the meetings lasted a lot longer. That's why we used to have two meetings, one for a discussion and one for a decision. So when I saw the state statutes had changed, that this is probably the most discussion we've heard ever, over and over, to get an idea of what's going on, which in the past, it would be brought up and then each one would give their own opinion and everybody would know what was going on, which is what Susan Muniak was saying. That's why our meetings flow so quickly, of course, but it's like, well, what was that about, And at least, even if you did a lot of arguing too, Susan, of course. But I understand what you're saying, but I think that when I saw the state statutes allowed that, it stopped discussion of the board discussing items, which made it more interesting and more informative for residents and for the other board members. But it's in the state statute, so it is allowed to do the emails. So that's what you've been doing, but it gives you the choice. If you wanted to vote to discuss it, you could.
Ellie, we can discuss things, but we cannot vote on things.
I didn't say, never voted.
I'm just
Yeah.
clarifying.
Oh, well, yeah, but if it's an agenda.
I was just
item-
clarifying. Thank you.
Okay, just my.
My biggest problem was when I got on the board was I always felt that the board discussed everything, decided everything, and when we got to the meetings, it was a done deal. And I did not want that to continue. I think, when you start having discussions outside of the meeting, so many things get lost and you don't get residents' input. And to me, that was one of the reasons I got on the board, was because as a resident, I was not heard. And I want that to be continued.
Well, the email.
But knowing that we can now at least go and see what the problem is without discussing it even would be so much better than all of us individually and then coming together.
Well, the email does allow you to discuss it before you come to the meeting. So you are discussing it. Before, it used to be discussed at the meeting. So the meetings would allow a lot, it would go for a couple hours, plus we would have two meetings. A discussion went on one day and a decision day on another. But obviously, we consider that, and so in assessment, I do agree with, I'm glad you brought that up, actually.
Okay, thank you,
And I
Ellie.
think something came of it.
All right, change in June's meeting date to June 26th due to the holiday. And I don't know that we need to discuss that.
Juneteenth is the holiday.
Oh, honestly.
Juneteenth is the holiday, federal holiday.
I make a motion, we move the next meeting to June 26th.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, fines and suspensions.
I move to fine the owner of 10977 Pepper Tree Lane $50 a day for lawn and landscaping in violation of Toxis covenants up to $5,000.
Second.
The address is 10977 Pepper Tree. Yeah. Okay. We did get, letter. We do have, 2 letters that were, well, one letter that was sent in and says, please do not do any of these things. I am writing and trying to communicate and work with you. And then there was another one that says, the canopies of these tall palms have bright green fan-shaped leaves that can reach 3 feet wide. But when the leaves die, they typically stay attached to the trunk, giving the tree a unique appearance, almost like it's wearing a hula skirt.
And then I finally ended up writing her a letter telling her about the hazards of having that hula skirt on the tree.
Was there any response to that?
No. I even recommended an arborist that could handle it for her.
Okay. Well, I know we have a problem with our own palm fronds out here that we need to take care of.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, next.
No, we have to vote.
Nope. Any more discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I move to find the owner of 8726 Woodmont Lane $50 a day for maintenance of home in violation of Toxis covenants up to $5,000.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Move to find the owner of 10954 Pepper Tree Lane $50 a day for architectural and aesthetic guidelines in violation of Toxis covenants of $5,000.
Any discussion? Call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I'm opposed.
Oh, okay, Bill. Did you want to discuss anything on that?
What's wrong with this one?
They
I
are,
don't have the house number on the house.
It's got,
And that's worth finding somebody $5,000 for.
no, $50 a day.
Physical
What?
house number must be displayed on their home. I can
You
get
can
you
use your microphone. Jen.
Leeds
this
County
is
so
for
as
home
well.
building, isn't it?
No.
Well, when I came here, there was no numbers on the house or the streets or anywhere else. But I don't think that's serious enough to find somebody $50 a day.
You know, I agree with you, Bill, but the problem that we have is they had 30 days to put numbers on their house, and they totally ignored it. Why would you do this? This is
Maybe
a
he's a
friendly,
slow painter.
it's a, you buy numbers and put them on your house.
That's what we did.
Yeah, I mean, some of these, I look at them and I think, how ridiculous is this? All they had to do was get the mold off the side of their house or put the numbers up on their house saying what their house number was. And they ignore them. They had 30 days to do this. And all they had to do was put some numbers on their house and call the office and say it's done. They did nothing. So we either find them at 30 days or they know they don't have to do anything.
Well, I think that's just a little out of.
I think it's ridiculous.
You also can go to finding. They can also dispute this when it goes to finding committee.
Right.
So if they
Yeah,
want
they
to
still have
dispute this, they have another option.
As of yesterday, the numbers were not on the house.
And until the finding committee meets, which is, let's say, a week or 2 weeks from now, they still have a chance to do that and go to the finding committee and say, I've taken care of it. On this paper here, which has all the fines and suspensions that are going on, there are some that are crossed off because they took care of it and it will not be in fine. So, I don't know what more we can do.
Okay,
Right.
that's been voted on. Let's move on to the next one.
Move to find the owner of 11109 Pepper Tree Lane $50 a day for maintenance of home in violation of Toxis covenants up to $5,000. This is another one, mold and mildew all over the side of the house.
We have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried.
Move to find the owner of 8211 San Felipe Court $50 a day for maintenance in violation of Toxis covenants up to $5,000.
Second.
Mailbox. Thank you for replacing your mailbox post as requested. However, the post needs to be painted brown. And you can call them. The office will provide the paint if you bring in a container. Not hard.
Okay. You have a second?
Yes.
Any more discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
The next one was resolved, and so that one will not go to finding. I move to find the owner of 11207 Sultry $50 a day for landscape maintenance in violation of Toxis covenants up to $5,000.
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I move to find the owner of 11115 Rollingwood Drive, $50 per day for underage residents, which is in violation of Toxis covenants, up to $5,000.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
That is the end of the fines and suspensions.
Okay, we have some correspondence from the art committee. Art. There's a request for a
Art, not art.
ART, art.
artist group. How's that? Artist group. They have requested that a rack be made. They have a bunch of donated frames in the art room that they want to have a rack made so that they can store those frames. Is there any discussion? Sue?
Jennifer and I were in the art room yesterday, spoke with, I do not know her name, Pat, and she was very friendly, and we mentioned to her that until they know how many of those frames they're really keeping, and till the art room is gone through to find out where there's spare room, that they right now have stuff that they don't even know what it is. All of the people who use that room in a standard basis that have stuff stored there, like for the COPS group, that it needs to be, find out how much you have and what room do we have. And once that's done, then we can look at what needs to be built, if anything needs to be built, or if we can already find it already there to keep the frames. I understand there's some good frames there, to keep them in an order so they don't get hurt each time somebody's looking through them. But I think that needs to be done first before we do any authorized.
Ahmed?
I agree, and I think, Bill, you said something about some of the supplies for this.
They're expensive for what they.
It might be a little expensive and might be able to be changed in that order. But the other thing is, this group, there are a lot of people that use that room for the art. But they pretty much, the amount of frames is there, in there is way too much. I know that when Edie died, her sons donated quite a few. And, you know, our suggestion is that possibly go through the frames and let's see what is left. Because there's frames in a closet, stuck on the side of a closet, and then a pile of them up at the other end. And then we revisit this at a different meeting to see exactly what needs to be done. And, Bill, I would suggest you could possibly help out on materials if we need them, or if we get the racks from somewhere else.
Any other discussion? I know, we're not supposed to store personal stuff there, so, you know, these were donated, but it's a mess. And right now, it's a fire hazard. So we need to clean that up.
And as far as personal, these are offered to any resident in Timber Oaks who could use the frames. Anyone can go in and get a frame from this group. So that kind of takes away the personal side of it, but we still need to organize it. And this group does not ask for much. So, you know, I tend to think, yes, let's do something about it, but let's get it a little organized.
Jennifer?
Yesterday, when we were talking, I actually volunteered to come in and help her straighten it out at her leisure. When she's available and I'm available, we'll try and get some, you know, heads and tails of the room so that we can come back with a really good proposal to the board.
Pat, would you like to address this?
Yes, first I'd like to thank Jennifer and Susan and for offering to help me with this. We were supposed to purge the bad frames yesterday, but unfortunately, because of ill health, the one woman couldn't show up. And we will be taking care of that. I did work yesterday trying to get a lot cleaned up, and maybe I could call on you at another time to help me with that task. It's very,
It's a lot.
yeah, it is. And we'll work with whatever, you know, you're willing to give us, and if Bill will help us with the materials list and stuff.
I
that would be
don't
great.
think anyone is opposed to doing this. It's just that we want to do it right and not rush it as quickly as we.
Another thing too, I would like to say, if anyone would like any of those frames, please come and take what you want. If you need help framing any of your existing pictures, I will be willing to help anybody to get them framed, to get them matted, to get the hardware on the back. I do know how to do it, so I can help with that, and I would be willing to.
Okay, thank you, Pat. The other thing to remember is that room is used by a lot of other groups, so we can't have the artists take over the whole room. Okay. Anything else? Motion to adjourn would be in order. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Meeting adjourned. Open forum.